Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. I'm Kaylani, this is James, and you're listening to Delightfully Dysfunctional.
And we kind of have different vibes going. Normally we're matchy.
Yeah, we have like the same level, range of casual.
I have business matters
He's
immediately
a business,
after this,
James.
and so I normally don't dress like this. In fact, I kind of hate.
I've never seen you, even at work events. You've never been this fancy.
I know. I have an open house. I'm a realtor, but I don't typically dress like this, and I first of all, who came up with the idea of the necktie? Why is that? Why was that ever a thing?
That's actually a good point. They don't serve a purpose.
No, they choke you. They dangle. They get in the way of everything.
Also, men's fashion has not really evolved.
Yeah.
I get a lot more of a range in what I can show up with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, men just kind of have the button-down shirt.
Would you like more pizzazz in your wardrobe? Would you, as a man, if I could snap my fingers and it was there's a spectrum of options.
No, not really. If I could just wear whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever, I would always wear a hoodie with sweats.
I think that maybe these social guidelines are good for you then.
Yeah. But I'm wearing more than that today.
He is, yes. Fancy business, James.
But I'm also old and dad.
Old dad, fancy business, James.
I'm saying, so as an old dad, all I care about is just being comfortable.
Comfort is key.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here it's we're recording on a Saturday instead. So I've got a nice sweater and a beanie. I feel like I should be on the slopes somewhere, but not skiing on the slopes. The version, I'm just reading a book and sipping on a latte.
For sure. I could see you chilling by the fire with a little throw blanket and your book. And look, you have a book.
I'm surrounded myself with books. Yeah.
Okay, you're such a nerd. But I love that about you.
I know. Yeah, you got to embrace it. I literally, lately, because I'm reading so many books I'm into, I carry this bag of books with me. This Barnes & Noble bag. It just goes with me with 3 to 5 books.
Did you know that all those books are probably available electronically? You don't have to carry a bag.
But I really I like marking in my books and writing in them. And look at all my little sticky pages. What would
There's nothing like a book.
Yeah. I like to disconnect from technology or using technology as much as possible. And I still have a lot of work to go in that direction. But if I can do it without, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It just feels better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But logistically, I get what you're saying.
Well, whenever I move and I had hoarded a bunch of books for some reason, I always think we need to consolidate all these into electronic form because moving all the books would simply be just this,
Yeah, there's just nothing like turning a page.
I know. So anyway.
But that's the nerd in me. I know this. Books were my friends. Actually, this is going to segue well. Books were totally my friends. It was so isolated and it was always, it was winter for 7 to 9 months of the year.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? We didn't have snowmobiles. That's what the fun people did. We didn't do that. So we were just cold.
Did you ever burn books just for fire?
No, actually. But so my mom is here visiting and somehow last night, we were getting on the topic of how there was a Washington Post article many years ago. I know I've mentioned it on the podcast. And this guy, something Ingram.
Chip Ingram?
No, it started with a P. I don't know. Paul, Pete, I don't know. Ingram. he was living over in the Baltimore area. He wrote this article and immediately started getting backlash from people in our county and like, look at, there is beauty here. And I think just maybe all of Minnesota was also kind of being supportive of like, no, that's a beautiful place, blah, blah, blah. And my specific town, Red Lake Falls, that I grew up in is, I would say, the prettiest place in the county because there's a couple of rivers, there's some topography to the land. They invited him over, he visited, and soon after, I believe, moved there. And I believe still lives there in this tiny town. And it was so funny because in the interview, they were asking him how long he's been there. And he said, we've done 3 winters. And Zach was like, I've never heard someone describe time in winters. And I'm like, I totally get it. Like, I did 15 winters time over there.
Dang.
Like, I'm out. But we watched some videos of just like what those conditions were like. And it was so fun for me to see my husband's reaction because I was just like, I need you to know how much of a badass I was. Like, that's what my thought was. And it was just these ground blizzards and whiteout conditions and like, you know, below 0 temperatures all of winter, sometimes down to 30 below, 50-mile wind chill. And I just needed him to know that I survived that.
Dang.
I just tortured him with watching blizzards.
You're like an Eskimo.
It is colder where I grew up just because there's no trees or mountains to block the wind. Then like parts of Alaska for sure.
Well, so then yesterday we had a blizzard for like 30 minutes with the big fat snowflakes.
Yes, I loved it.
That was nothing for you.
No, I love it when everything is white and because it looks prettier.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy seeing snow. I don't like that people here don't know how to drive in the winter.
Right.
And
people
in the
don't know how
snow.
to drive just at all here, especially in Pasco. Yeah. Well, in Minnesota, we had different methods and way more snow plows. Like we were more prepared too. So like that was a big difference too. We just don't get enough snow here for it to matter in how our city invests. But for survival, there's just like plows everywhere in Minnesota. That's good. Yeah. There's lakes everywhere too.
Yeah. A lot of ice fishing if you're into that kind of thing over there. We weren't. So I guess this is my segue into the topic I want to talk about is that books were fun for me. Reading was fun for me. Like there weren't a lot of outdoor activities available for a lot of the year because it was so cold. And maybe if we had a family that was really into, you know, doing outside things like, I don't know, skiing or whatever people do in the winter, snowmobiling, like that would be different, but we weren't. And there's so much that just felt like you were surviving some of those harsh conditions. And part of the family I grew up in, was just really hard workers, like workaholics.
Yeah.
And so I really struggle to play. And the topic I want to talk about today is play. Okay. Like how do we play as adults? Oh. Do we allow ourselves to? Do we punish ourselves if we, don't feel like it's something we've accomplished? Like those are some things that I know I've done. If my to-do list isn't completed to a certain extent, it's like I don't give myself permission to play. Yeah. And it's been a really beautiful shift. It's a current lesson that I'm in right now and learning that play is essential. And how do I invite it in? Mm-hmm. And how do I get comfortable being in a state of play?
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. I had no idea what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, but until this moment. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, I'm trying to get the gears rolling. So, yeah, keep going. Keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many things that we can gain from play. I talk a lot about the brain-body connection. I'm an integrative and holistic mental health therapist, so I can't help it. But play also reduces our cortisol levels and it stimulates endorphins. Mm-hmm. It can help our problem-solving skills. Usually there's a social component and we need social connection. So there's a lot of reasons why on a physiological level it's beneficial too. But it helps us be more curious and in wonderment. And it's an essential part that's been a part of cultures and even a part of nature. When we observe animals, they know how to play. Yeah. They make that a priority.
Yeah. Like lion cubs. Like lion cubs? Sorry.
Yeah, he just shouts into the mic across the room. Yeah, like any kind of animal. Like when I was, I grew up with animals. So like I saw the bison playing.
Yeah.
I saw the horses playing. I saw on safari, I saw elephants playing in the water, like wrestling each other, like adolescent elephants. I saw monkeys playing. Like there's so many examples. Like watch some Nat Geo and you'll see some animals playing. I know you'll see some animals doing lots of other stuff too, but like it's an essential piece, and we are a part of nature. And I think that in the constraints of society to do, and the lack of social connection that we have, so that we kind of externalize the need for acceptance as being that if I'm perfect, if I parent this certain way, if I do this perfect way, that will get me social acceptance, instead of it just being woven into a part of being human. That's more naturally how it's always been until really a recent blip in history. So I've really been thinking a lot in my personal life about being more playful.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of myself, my own experience, because like I've always been like a playful person, and lately I've struggled more with depression, and I know, normally I feel like I can't be playful if when I'm depressed. I that's probably like same is true with everyone.
Well, we can fall into a homeostasis or a default mode, and so in depression it feels like play probably takes energy, and it's probably difficult to cultivate things that feel fun. But there's also a real need then, if that's something you're noticing, to be intentional.
Like lean into it, because
lean in.
You're gonna feel better if you just kind of go with it. Well, like with my kids, for example, they've always known me as like being playful. Right. So when they like want to wrestle, that's their bid for connection. And if I'm depressed and I don't really feel like wrestling, then that's a rejection. So it's like, but then there have been a lot of times where I'll just kind of push myself to do it, and I think that's a struggle for all seasons of parenting, because the kids just kind of want that soft side of their parents, and if parents are like tired or stressed or whatever, then they're gonna be like, I don't really feel like
and they're
playful.
missing those bids. Exactly. So I think this is I'm so glad you brought in parenting. I wasn't anticipating that, and this will be fun. I recently learned a really big lesson in playfulness, but in being playful in my parenting, which seems like it should come naturally. But like when you're tired at the end of the day and it's a short time frame from like getting home and getting to bed and all these things, there would be like defiance that I'd feel from Priya that was exhausting. It was just like, oh gosh, I'm exhausted from my day, and now I get to feel another bout of exhaustion. And this message I got was to be more playful, to make those moments like funny moments. And the more moments we can spend with our kids lighting up and laughing, like that's promoting safety with them. That is forming attachment bonds through play. It's so important. And there's been a huge shift in my relationship with Priya. I think our tiny humans are all here to give us lessons. And I'd be so curious as you think about, because since you have 4, like there's different lessons. Maybe one is giving you a lesson of how to be more gentle and compassionate to yourself. Maybe one is giving you a lesson on how to be more vulnerable, right? Like there's these different things that we can gain if we're really paying attention to. I feel like the essence of who our kids are chose to be here for a reason and be in your life for a reason.
I love that this is our topic, because this is something I never would have thought to like take off the shelf and unpack. But now like the gears are turning. So, cause like, it's so crazy. Cause I feel like as adults, we've conditioned ourselves to like make play forbidden. Like it has to be earned. I'm
embarrassed to say too, that I think that I had some really like negative stigma around play. When I'd see people playing, I would feel angry, to be honest. I'd feel almost not angry at them. I'm angry that they get the opportunity to play.
Yeah.
Like, because I'd been so busy punishing myself that I hadn't reached whatever goal or accomplishment or, finished my to-do list in this certain way that I couldn't have that. Or maybe I thought sometimes that those things cost money. How nice is it that they get to play like that?
Yeah.
When I don't need anything that costs money in order to play.
Yeah. Play is kind of like an outward expression of just joy. And and it's funny because the fact that I have that like negative reaction to being playful or I'm too tired is so crazy when you break it down, because like I've never had a situation where I'm playful and it wasn't a good memory. It's always been a good memory. That all of your best memories are probably moments of joy, and so to resist that and and for that to like look at being playful and joyful and be like, oh, it's just too much energy. That's so like, it's crazy to think about joy or playfulness as a discipline.
Yeah, that's interesting. And does it as a discipline? Yeah. Or as a practice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I like that word a little bit better, but it's kind of potato. But but being intentional about it, right? Because I can so easily forget. And I also know I'm not my best self when I exclude play from my life. I'm a better therapist, mother, partner, friend when I add more play into my life. And in times when, if it feels like, oh, we're saving up for this, and so I can't make that happen. Like, I want to be more curious about how I might still be able to make it happen.
Yeah.
Make the girl trip happen, make the visit to see someone or the plan to do this thing. Because again, like at the end of my days, I'm not going to be like, I'm really glad that I stayed up late grinding on that thing. And, those aren't going to be the moments that light me up.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, my mind is being blown as we're sitting here because it's like unlocking. Because I've described like my best self, like level 5 a few times, and like all the characteristics. I don't think that for some reason, I always think like joy has to be a feeling that I arrive on. That's one of those things that I haven't really learned that I can just
cultivate
choose it. Yeah. Because all the things that I've that I've been inconsistent on, like my comedy or whatever, or things like that always require joy and playfulness. And I've been inconsistent because I'm like, I just don't feel like being playful. But then it's like to unlock it and to like turn it on and to have it as a discipline. It's like, well, I can choose to be playful even if circumstances are bad or something, you know?
Yeah. Like I think we're too good at punishing ourselves in that way.
Well, it's like, because me being like the class clown growing up, I was always like slapped in the hand whenever I was like cracking jokes. And then people, my whole life it was like, you need to work hard and then play.
Right. Yeah. I think my parents were so distracted, working or unhealed in their ways that they didn't know how to play and know how to play with me. So it wasn't prioritized, but working was prioritized and working hard towards something. So I can set a goal and work towards it if there's a passion there for days.
Yeah.
But the idea of play and even of rest, I think that goes hand in hand, like giving yourself permission to rest. These are things that I want to bring into the conversation. I'm so glad that you're having this reaction because I was curious. I was curious about how you would respond to this, because I think this is a great example of how, like, outwardly I'd say that you're a playful person. And I can say the same thing about myself in social interactions. That, like, I can be the playful person in the situation. It's not that. It's like an internal playfulness and an internal seriousness that I'm speaking to as well. Like, play should light you up, not just be a performative act.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and on the other side of the coin, there are times where I am playful and it like distracts me from like accomplishing important things.
Sure.
So almost like ADHD, you know. But to use it strategically, to actually be intentional about playfulness, that's like a life hack. It feels like a life hack. It's like, oh my gosh, I can do all the things that are like boring and dreary and have fun. I can choose to have fun doing it, you know?
Yeah. This is, it was funny when I was having to do a lot of chores and things at the house and on the farm. I remember that was actually a really wise thing my mom told me, was like, you can make it fun. Like, how quickly can you do this? Or like, how do you make, I don't know, you can make it like a little competition in your head. And I think it's imperative that we make some mundane tasks fun, but also that we just like outright in a rebellion choose to have fun.
Right.
Like, one small and free way that I began doing that was, I'm going to like really jam out to music that makes me feel good. And I'm going to dance like nobody's watching. And I'm just going to really feel it. I'm going to like feel the music, and I'm just going to like dance around my house, and I don't care.
I would love to see that.
I would still do it. Like, I like, it feels so fun. It's more fun if there's more people. But like, in little ways, you know, maybe that means in your car, just like singing out loud to your favorite song. I would be curious for you, when I'm in a lower spot, I notice that I'm not singing.
For sure. Yeah, that's accurate with me too.
Right. And when I'm feeling really good, like, I'm wanting to belt out my favorite songs in the shower.
Yeah.
And so I think another, like, in this idea of cultivating, not just waiting for the wave.
Yeah.
I think start singing, man. Start singing in the shower. Start dancing when you're getting ready. Yeah. These are small and simple ways to add some play.
I love it. Yeah, you're right. Because, like, waiting for that feeling of joy rather than just, like, cultivating it, because it's rare. If you're dwelling on all the negativity and all the hard stuff in life, joy is not going to come.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you just, although, like, you know, lately I've been waking up and saying gratitudes every morning, and that like rewires my brain. Yeah. And it allows a place, but I'm still waiting for joy to come.
Right.
But if I choose joy,
I think that that's a really good ritual. Yeah. And now we just got to layer in more. Yeah. You know? And I'm still finding what I'm needing, what those layers look like for me and for our family and for Zach and I as a couple. And that's been really a fun phase of discovery for us, because especially because Zach, I don't know, neither one of us have like strong traditions that came from our culture or from our family or from a religious structure. So I think we felt a little bit lost in navigating it. And we've now been in this phase of having a lot of fun of what it means to create your own.
Yeah. That's exciting.
It is exciting. Like creating a family mission statement, like thinking about what types of transitions in life or in family you want to commemorate with a ritual or with a ceremony. And maybe he and I will get to speak more about that at some point. But I think it's been really fun, and play has been a big part of it. So there are a couple, I had too many things that I wanted to read. Where do I want to start? I have a few. Okay, here's one. This is actually today's actual reading, the day that we are recording this, December 2nd, and this is from the Book of Awakening. Okay. An invitation. Yours is to live it, not to reveal it. Sorry, already starting out rough. Edit that, someone. Okay. By Helen Luke. Helen Luke was a very wise woman, deeply grounded in the life of the spirit. I knew Helen during the last 2 years of her life. During that time, she was a mentor to me. These words are from our last conversation. They troubled me, for I have spent my life becoming a writer, thinking that my job has been just that, to reveal what is essential and hidden. In the time since Helen died, I've come to understand her last instruction as an invitation to shed any grand purpose, no matter how devout we may have been to what we were doing. She wasn't telling me to stop writing, but to stop striving to be important. She was inviting me to stop recording the poetry of life and to enter the poetry of life. This lesson applies to us all. If we devote ourselves to the life at hand, the rest will follow. For life, it seems, reveals itself through those willing to live. Anything else, no matter how beautiful, is just advertising. This took me many years to learn and accept. Having begun innocently enough, there arose separations, and I now know that health resides in restoring direct experience. This having struggled to do has never been done. I discovered that living is the original art. And I thought that was so cool because I had decided to do this episode about play because that is just organically what has been on my heart this week. And that was the reading, was really about stop striving to be important. You already are. The art that you are creating in this lifetime is the lived experience. It's the day to day. It's the gratitude. It's the play. It's the meaning. It's how much we loved, how deeply we connected.
Yeah, that's really good. That's juicy what you just read. So I'm sitting here like trying to unpack it all. But yeah, where he said, enter the poetry of life.
Yeah, instead of recording it.
Yeah, that's a pretty profound statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any comments, but
my one of my dear teachers, Lauren Taus, says life is psychedelic. Get living. Like psychedelic in the sense of it is magical and awe-inspiring and wonderful, and we can be in the clouds and forget that.
Yeah, for sure. I love this theme today. It's cheering me up.
Is it? Oh, yay. Okay, I've got another one. Okay. Strength. What do you mean by strength? What I mean is how firm is your inner peace? How honestly can you observe yourself without judgment? How limitless is your love for yourself and all beings? And how willing are you to change yourself for the better? That was from Inward, Young Pueblo. And I really like this because so often strength is seen as, the absence of honesty with yourself and of harsh judgment and, not changing, staying stagnant.
Yeah.
So I guess I want this, to be a part of the message as we talk about play, because I think we can view it as frivolous.
Yeah.
And I would say that this is a really amazing addition in learning how to love yourself.
For sure.
Is to give you and allow yourself to play. And that is a really strong thing. Yeah.
The thing that, like we had talked a couple episodes ago about like gratitude in all things, like almost like radical gratitude.
Yeah. And
then cultivating playfulness. Both of those feel like rebellion. Like it's because it's one thing to be like emotionally tough and resilient and like emotionally stoic. That's one thing. But then like the next level is to be joyful and grateful in no matter what has been thrown at you.
Yeah.
So
this week was actually a great example of that. Zach had to go in early, work late. There was a lot of like big things going on for him unexpectedly. And then both of our childcare options were sick. So I had to like cancel or reschedule or shuffle things around. And normally I was able to really observe it differently. Normally I think that would have stressed me out and I would have been like, this week is going to hell already.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like just hating to have to reschedule, hating to have to shuffle, and it was nothing like that. These little shifts that I've been making, there's been a payoff because I didn't feel that. I felt like, oh, well, that is what it is. What a lucky treat that I get to spend some more time at home. How fun that I get to have extra snuggles, You know, like all my clients were flexible. They were able to make it work. I was able to make it work.
Yeah.
It all ended up happening. Thanks, Mom, for coming over to babysit. But I just handled it internally so much differently. And I'm so grateful. So I want to be the poster child for how doing this work on healing yourself and on extending more love to yourself and play in your life and letting that show in natural ways it does to benefit other people, like it's worth it. I found I was looking for some research into philosophers or just thought leaders in the past who have had some thoughts or commentary on play. And one that I really like, because I think it's so strong with the messaging that we have, is from Albert Einstein, and it's about curiosity.
Ooh,
so
okay.
that in my head, I was like, we're doing Albert Einstein's work.
Yeah.
The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence, and the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. And so I think also like curiosity and play are really strongly connected.
For sure. Yeah.
So I wonder, like, when it comes to you and you think about play and being playful, what ways do you experience playfulness?
Like what activities?
Yeah, what activities or what memories? Like when you think about playfulness, what comes up for you?
I mean, the short answer, laughter, a lot of laughter. But then, I don't know. I guess, there is it's like a no judgment zone when you're being playful.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's like a leveling.
Yeah, like the people that you're with, there are certain things that almost have to exist before like a group of people can be playful. It's like acceptance, you know, non-judgment, like love, comfort, safety, all that stuff that are always present. And so playfulness.
You're so right. Yo, I love this conversation. Sorry, keep going.
It's like, so playfulness is like this perfect, like expression of just a healthy environment. Like you don't necessarily see a prisoner of war being playful, you know what I mean? Or somebody who's in an abusive relationship, they're not typically playful.
You know, I was just, as you were sharing though, I think that maybe vulnerability is often a part of play with others.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's like
those are situations where one, you know, for survival reasons can't afford that. But I think that maybe that's a piece for me. I'm realizing I had to work through in order to invite play in. Yeah.
Well, like for one thing that I'd always used as like a bid for connection my whole life is if I like say a joke or try to get somebody to laugh, and if they don't laugh, then I'm like, okay, this is not one of my people. You know, I don't really want to. That was a rejection. And so, but I have a tendency to like really, really push the envelope. And I just and if people keep laughing, then I'm going to get way more dark humor. But anyway, so that's one thing that I need to probably work on. But
he's testing.
I always push my limits. But that is, I feel like if there's a culture that you exist in where your humor is received well, then those are the people you're going to gravitate to, you know, and and all those things exist.
This is another quote I want to share for us to talk about. You can discover more about a person over an hour of play than in a year of conversation. That was from Plato. And I was thinking about that because I often, especially couples who maybe have become too good at just like operating their home and haven't had playful moments between them.
Yeah.
Their homework will be to go on a date, but instead of kind of getting stuck in maybe just talking about the kids or in not even knowing what conversation to have, like I'm looking at a stranger, I'd give them instruction to go and do something playful, something like with their, like go do axe throwing, go do laser tag, go to an arcade, like do something fun, do something silly. And I think that is a really cool thought that like, how can we maybe invite others to join in play? What can we learn from them in that?
Yeah.
I like playing games. That's why.
Well, you said axe throwing. That's right up the street from here.
Yeah.
And,
Throw some ninja stars.
Yeah, can you throw ninja stars there?
I was better at ninja stars than the axe.
I've never been there.
Yeah,
I need to go.
Okay. Oh, maybe we can late celebrate your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
We still need to plan something.
Yeah, my birthday was a week ago.
Yeah, it's okay.
8 days ago.
It's going to happen. We're just going to reschedule it.
Okay.
I'm really good at that.
We'll celebrate my next birthday super early.
Right.
Yeah.
Just kidding. This has been such a fun conversation. I want to also share that I want to send out and extend a huge invitation for those who want to engage in some healing play at a medicine retreat that Dr. Sabrina Hadid and I are going to be hosting in Clay Elum, March 7th through the 10th. This is going to be a wellness retreat that's going to focus not only on using ketamine as a medicine to open up a healing space, but also we're going to incorporate lots of forms of movement like yoga and dance and opportunities for reflection and to be outside in nature. So we are just going to cultivate and create this healing space and environment and guide you through a lot of these key elements that I speak about on the podcast that I think we integrally need as humans to restore our natural immune system and to heal ourselves. So if you're interested in that, please check out my website. I have updated the link in the link tree, and you can find some more information there. Back to our conversation of play.
Okay.
Sorry.
I thought you were wrapping up.
I want to read this last poem, and then we can wrap up.
Oh,
okay?
no. Okay. I don't want to wrap up. I'm just
You
saying.
don't want to wrap up. Okay.
Well, whatever you want to do.
We can keep going. This is from Let Us Dance by Shalane Harkin.
Okay.
It's called Deep Light. The world is hungry for a deep light that can only be harvested through our shadows. Our souls are hungry for a spirituality that allows the full range of our authentic being, that doesn't insist on our shadow light while cutting the depths of our darkness off at the knees. Our hearts are hungry for a feeling of home that allows all of us back in, even and especially our most exiled and condemned parts. Our most loveless, impoverished, and impossible to control parts, our most disheveled, unkempt parts that have never known how to put themselves together or how to gloss on a fake smile. Our hearts are screaming for these parts of us to return with that kind of desperate love of a mother separated from her child. And our shadows are equally vulnerable and quaking with desperate desire to be summoned home. I don't know. I guess that's just like a calling to engage in this healing work, that there's a real beauty in the practice of learning how to integrate your different parts. And I think that inviting play is a really fun first step.
Yeah. Well, and it said in that poem you just read, like almost, it said something like you feel a calling home or something.
Yeah. Let me find that part again.
Okay. It said something about home.
You know what? That's funny because I don't think that was the first poem that I was planning on reading. I went to a different one. But it still works. Sorry, keep going. I don't know where it went.
Well, yeah, because that description of home, usually when people like say that someone feels like home or something feels like home, it's all those same characteristics that I described of like that have to exist for playfulness to exist. And so that's interesting because I think about my kids who when they're they're like a little group of people and they feel, I would bet that they would describe they feel like home when they're with each other because they are so playful with each other, and they always, they had this little culture of like acceptance and vulnerability, that as long as they're together, they're playful always.
That's wonderful.
So I'm trying to think of like, the people that make me feel that way. So, yeah.
Are there people that come to mind for you?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, you being one.
Aw.
And then like my family, my brother, and then some other people. They shall remain nameless.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece. And also that like playfulness should also go hand in hand, hopefully, with feeling safe. Because I think that there's been a lot of people who I've thought were playful and didn't end up being safe.
Yeah.
Or maybe, eventually that wasn't something I felt there anymore. And the lure of having fun and being playful pulled me back in too many times. But that's something I want everyone to be thoughtful of too, that, don't engage in play for the sake of like short-term fun with someone who you also don't feel safe with, or at least be aware of it when you are. Yeah,
that's a good point. Because like a narcissist, for example,
they can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they'll appear to be that way,
right.
And it's almost like that's a unintentional form of manipulation. Because when you first meet just about anyone, they're gonna seem friendly and playful right up front, but then pretty soon, they'll start to display those like toxic traits that you don't feel safe.
Yeah, and I want to like caution against like putting kind of a stark label on someone, because I think that in the evolution of our own healing, we can be the villain in other people's stories too, right? So it's really like a personal gauging of, okay, yeah, this is fun, but I guess for me, and maybe I think you kind of answered the question already, but for me, when I think about fun and the idea of needing to be vulnerable to have fun, it also means having the right kind of people around me, not just that like my highest form of fun isn't going to happen with people who maybe aren't able to tap into an emotional component and maybe enjoy the shallow end more than the deep end.
Yeah.
The highest form of fun for me are going to be people who can have at least a deeper meaning or conversation, or like incorporate pieces of that. Mm-hmm. Then that's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like the type of person that when you get new shoes, they're going to say, "Oh, can you run faster?" I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was so random, but I can unpack that later. I don't know.
I've been like packing this episode full of poems. Is like literal question. Is this adding one more too much? Is that too much?
No, I love it. We're supposed to immerse ourselves in the poetry of life.
Yes.
So
be the poetry of life.
So give us another one.
Okay. This is again from Let Us Dance. To applaud your radiance. Really, the whole part of healing is that it takes less and less work to be astonished. You stop demanding that the world knocks you sideways and just let the sweetness of simple things climb into your heart. The purpose of healing is that it takes less work to feel a deep belonging. The inclusive congregation of stars whose only doctrine is shine, so want your heart as a member, and the community of hillside daisies considers you an integral part. Really, the whole point of healing is to make an easier time of love, that it stop being singled out as a limited resource, that you may find your soulmate winking at you through every bit of life, and that you remember each night the moon sets her light in the sky to encourage and applaud your radiance.
I love that. I like that part where it said, what, the congregation of stars only requirement is to shine or something like that?
Yeah. This inclusive congregation of stars whose only doctrine is shine.
Yeah, I love that.
So want your heart as a member.
Because it's kind of like, just be you. Just shine. Just be yourself, and that's a great poem. Gosh, because just the idea of stop working so hard to like cultivate joy and playfulness, and just like realize that the world kind of sucks, but integrate. What am I trying to say?
I think a truth about this life is that it's unfair and that there's suffering. And so how do you find your light and cultivate that with those circumstances when it has those challenges?
Yeah.
And I think it is possible. I think it is a huge purpose, if not the purpose, in why we are here. And we can get lost in thinking that the accumulation of things or accomplishments is the goal for this life.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Jim Carrey quote that was something like that about like, I hope that everyone gets everything they hope they wanted so that they can realize that that isn't what this is all about.
Yeah.
So, I am excited about continuing to bring these conversations and really leaning into adding spirituality into the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think that we've excised it out of mental health for too long. And it's actually an important piece.
Yeah.
And that is how we can really unlock who we really are and who we want to become.
Yeah.
Is through this wonderment of the world. And to me, that's what spirituality, for me, a big piece of how I define it, is like being grateful and loving and compassionate to myself and to others and to the world, and finding a space to enjoy it and play.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having that fun conversation with me. And I just want to plug to like, subscribe, share right now. All of that helps so much. If you can rate us, if you can share with a friend, if you can comment, it just means the world and helps the algorithms to find us so that others who maybe might enjoy curious conversation about being delightfully dysfunctional, they might want to join the fam. Again, a reminder that on March 7th through the 10th, I'll be co-hosting a retreat with Dr. Sabrina Hadid. This is a medicine retreat. And so if you really want to accelerate your healing and find community with others, this is going to be such a beautiful space for wellness and healing and fun and play. So like, comment, subscribe, join us again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Be delightful.